Lunchbox is brought to you by Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, now with events throughout the year.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Bifo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We're on the road today. We are at a new or newish, it's been a few months already, new restaurant in Oakland Park right here on Dixie Highway, and the name of it is Camille's Pizzeria and Ristorante, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the Lunchbox a couple that's behind this great place. It's John and Maya Kredich, and now I got the pronunciation right.
Yes, you did.
And that's the thing. As a writer, I always got the spelling right, but as a broadcaster, I butcher names all the time. But guys, thank you so much for agreeing to host a show here. And I was in as a guest customer a couple of, I guess, weeks ago and had a fantastic meal. You're doing pizzas, you're doing pastas, and we're here just in time because it's the end of Italian American Heritage Month. So, and if you want to kind of celebrate that, you got 2 more days in October to do it. Come on out here. I don't know who should go first. I'm going to say ladies first. Maya, first of all, how are you today? And then second of all, how's it been going? And why did you get into the, some would say, insane world of running a restaurant?
Well, I'm great, and we're happy to have you here today. Why did I get into this? We've been doing this, both of us, for quite some time now. This has probably been something in my family for the past 15 years. He's been doing this for 15, 20 years, and we were excited to start our own, our own venture.
Right. Everybody likes to, have their own place. And again, the name Camille, who is Camille?
Camille is my mother-in-law, John's mom, and the inspiration behind all the delicious Italian recipes.
And John, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You are a veteran chef. You've worked at many places around South Florida and up in New York. Just tell the folks here a little bit about your background.
Okay. I started cooking with my mother and grandmother when I was young.
And you grew up where?
In Queens, New York.
Queens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Mets fan?
Yes.
All day.
All right. Well, the only thing left for us Mets fans, now that the Yankees have gotten one on the scoreboard and trailing 3-1, is do we want the Dodgers to close it out in 5 so we get bragging rights over the Yankees and say, well, at least we took them to 6 games?
We'll take it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. Yankees stay alive. Their bats come alive. You grew up in Queens with the Nonna and the Mama, and you just got into cooking the Italian stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked at a couple local restaurants in Queens on the weekends when I, wasn't in school, and that made me, I went to undergrad for advertising, and then realized, I liked cooking, for free on the weekends rather than.
That's it. You always got to find your passion.
Yeah.
And
His heart was in the kitchen.
that's it.
So I went to Italy. I studied some culinary arts in Florence.
Oh, wow.
Then I came back and worked at a couple restaurants in Queens, and then I took it down to Miami, where I started my career with Chef Andrew Carmelini.
Yep.
And moved back and forth between New York and Miami a couple times.
Some high-end places.
Yeah.
And some very well-regarded places. You also worked at Macchialini.
Yes,
right?
Macchialina in Miami Beach for 2 years. And
Which is kind of known as like the premier house of pasta. So you must make a pretty mean pasta if you were working
absolutely.
there.
Well, what did you think? You ate
I
here.
did. I thought... So the night I was here, he had a special, it was kind of a lot of the pastas here are house made, and it was like a fettuccine with a clam sauce, and it had a little zesty, vibrant citrus element. And I guess the way you describe this here is like the traditional comfort food Italian American classics, but with kind of maybe a little more elevated spin to some of the dishes.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've been living in this part of South Florida in Fort Lauderdale area for a little over 3 years, I'd say, right, darling? And I felt that there was a void that needed to be filled up here for what we're doing.
Okay.
There's a lot of high end restaurants, and then there's a lot of not so high.
Okay.
To put it nicely, and
the
there was
value conscious Italian, or more like corner pizzeria places.
Yeah, but then there's also. I feel like the market calls for what we're doing, because a lot of people like ourselves who moved up here from Miami, young families, don't have much of a choice. It's either, break the bank and go somewhere really high end on the beach, or go to just a pizzeria,
right.
And what we give is something special,
and you still you sell slices during the
absolutely,
daytime, right?
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things. A lot of people I know in our audience are always looking for just sliced joints, because they don't want a whole pizza, even if it's a small bar pie. There's something about
we have people in and out throughout the day and night, coming in, ordering slices and whole pizzas to go, like a traditional pizzeria, as well as having that elevated menu for lunch and dinner, where you could get something a little more thoughtful.
Now we're going to be graced with a lot of food in a little bit. We're getting it prepped, but I figure it'd be nice to kind of just ease into it and have a conversation about your background. And I guess you said your family operated restaurants, or what was your connection
My
to
family,
the biz?
yes, they own Lebanese restaurants in Queens, so I always grew up around that.
Okay.
It was also, food was a big part of my upbringing, and then I was always a foodie. Then met Chef John.
Yep.
So
And the rest. How did you guys meet?
we actually met in Queens through mutual friends.
Okay, not at a restaurant.
Not at a
like that.
restaurant.
Okay.
What kind of at a restaurant?
Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Dirty Piers? No,
yes, a dive.
a dive bar. A dive bar. So
That's always the best
That's
way
great,
to meet
though.
people. A dive bar usually leads to good stories. So
that's right.
And in your case, again, married, you have kids, or
2 kids.
2 kids.
That's right.
How do you balance that, Maya, in terms of just the whole?
You just go, go, go.
Yeah. And the kids are how old now?
4 and 2.
4 and 2. So a little too young to start putting to work in the kitchen.
4-year-olds can come and bust tables on the weekends.
Shh, don't tell the labor department, child labor laws. But that's okay. You could no, it's all good.
They're kids.
They're kids, and I love the family vibe thing. At you know me, John. I prefer small mom and pop independent restaurants and not the big corporate chains. And I assume after having worked for different outfits, you get your experience. But it's nice to have kind of full creative control.
Absolutely. Mike, let me tell you, through the years, it's been working for big restaurateurs and big, I owe a lot to that. I've learned a lot, and able to, bring that here and really, implement the SOPs.
Yeah. And you try to always have different specials rotating
every week. We have a special. We keep a small menu, that way we could focus on quality. And
did the fettuccine and clams make the cut? Like, did the things sometimes graduate to permanent status?
Yes, the clams are definitely here to stay and will be printed on the next menu.
Okay.
Next round of menus for
Always
a season.
good.
Absolutely.
That's me. Hey, I didn't even mention yet, everybody out there, this is Camille's Pizzeria and Ristorante. It is at 4165 North Dixie Highway in Oakland Park. And if anybody's familiar with the Funky Buddha Brewery, that would be, I guess, the landmark where you just kind of head a few blocks north. And tell me, Mike, just why you chose this location. This has been a number of different restaurants through the years. And what do you think about, why here and why now?
Well, like John mentioned earlier, we did feel there was a void maybe in the Fort Lauderdale area. If you wanted to get fresh, authentic pastas, we would usually take a drive down to Miami, or, like he said, end up at a much higher end place. So when we opened in this area, we wanted something approachable for the neighborhood, somewhere where you could still get like elevated food at the same time as the pizzeria and all that.
Yeah. And John, you were mentioning just you drive up and down here, you see there's nothing but new buildings.
Well, in
and
this area, there's
cranes
not
and
a lot. Wait, what got you guys? I don't know if I missed it, but what drove you from Miami to Broward? Because there's so much going on in Miami, right? There's a lot of people there. Right? The restaurant scene, I know it's hectic, but still, there's always room for more. But as we've learned, as I've learned during the show, Broward is grown in the food population, but there's so much room for growth here. Is that like what brought you guys from Miami, where you worked at different levels of restaurants, or involved with different levels of restaurants, up north to Broward County?
Okay, I'll take this one.
Either of you, I'm interested in both your opinions, to be brutally honest.
No, absolutely. Initially, we moved off South Beach to purchase a home.
Okay.
We were in Miami Shores. COVID hit, and we had an opportunity to really profit off selling that home in Miami Shores.
Good for you.
So we moved up to Hollywood, where I thought it would leave my options open to either still work in Miami or go north.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few opportunities happening, in Fort Lauderdale Beach with all the new hotels popping up over there. And, after work, even after we moved to Hollywood, I stayed in Miami for a little bit, and, the traffic patterns had changed with all the building and more people moving down. So I decided to stay north and focus on this. And I feel that with everything and all these great chefs in Miami up here, they're coming in slowly, and I feel we'll be able to, really impact the community. Because ultimately, we're in food service, but ultimately we are in the business of hospitality.
Yep.
And
Pleasing
that's what we
guests.
Exactly.
Which explains why one of the dishes we're going to be hit with later in the show, I guess, has become popular, which is your chicken parmesan. But meanwhile, we've got the first food hitting the table on today's Lunchbox. And not only is it Italian American Heritage Month, Maya, but it is also National Seafood Month. And in celebration of that, I've been dared to eat seafood dishes every day of the month, particularly on the show. So we're going to get that started with, what do we have in front of us here? That's the
Frito misto.
Frito misto, which everybody knows means a mixed fried basket, right?
That's right.
And what do we got in it? It smells lovely.
Calamari. We got calamari.
We
got some Key West shrimp, and some pickled peppers, deep fried, and zucchini.
And served with
And
a
lemon.
little lemon. I always squeeze my lemon because I love my brightness and acidity. And again, I like the touch of having the Key West pink shrimp, which you don't always see. And this is a nice, beautiful local seafood product, correct, John? You got
yes. Well, we try here to implement as much as possible whatever local or regional ingredients we can. In fact, I just received. I was a little late to the show. I just had to receive an order from Swank Farms.
Oh yeah, Jody up there.
We have produce coming in from them and from our local fish vendors. I try to get whatever's in season.
Oh, good. Oh, and now the pizza's coming. Now we got some.
Well,
more.
before we move on, we
setup.
have
There we go.
talking about our presenting sponsor today is the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival.
Oh, right. It's
Mr. Phil Morrow is
Yes.
watching
I'm
right
all right,
now, and
thank
he's
you.
already extended an invitation
for them
to
come.
Camille's to hopefully be a part of the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival this upcoming January.
We'll have
So-
to arrange a meeting in the mines. I don't know if you know Phil and Kate. They are the ones who operate the food fest. It's coming
Wonderful.
up in January. And let me
Exciting.
first take
Oh,
my
geez.
little bite. Oh, look at this.
That's a whole
He's got
pizza.
the little baby pup, I call these. These little baby octopus. It's whole. And excuse me, because sometimes on the show I forget my manners. I didn't unwrap my utensils. Instead, I just took my little baby octopus here, dunked it right in that beautiful ramekin of the.
So Mayo, they made like an
marinara.
extra large pizza, which I totally appreciate, and I will find a way to showcase it. I don't think it's fitting here, so I'm gonna be honest.
That's a
with you.
big
Let me
boy.
get the stand. I'll be
Yeah,
right
we
back.
got.
So,
All right, you
but
know
I
what?
will get the other camera, and I will.
Here's
figure
what we're
it
gonna
out.
do.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. Go online to VLFWine.com now to check out the full listing of events. It's going to be happening January 13th to the 19th,
It's my
all
birthday.
over Fort Lauderdale. There's going to be some intimate dinners. There's going to be some bigger events, including a cocktail competition on Wednesday night, the Asian-themed walk and roll on Thursday night, a barbecue battle on Friday night that for the first time is going to be at a venue that allows for live fire smoking. And then, of course, Saturday, the grand tasting. Sunday, a new brunch event. Go online now to VLFoodWine.com to scout out your events, your tickets. And it's going to be happening right after the holidays. It'll be here before you know it. It makes the perfect stocking stuffer for the food lover in your life. VLFoodWine.com. And and that is my play of the day. Definitely go online, check it out. Now we've got this beautiful mushroom sausage pizza. What I suggest, let's take our first break, and then I'll get properly set up with utensils to eat like a human being.
I don't even know how you're going to eat that like a human being. They actually made it where Mayo's going to Mayo. This is a very big, delicious
This
looking
looks like
pizza.
a big, like New York
that I think
style.
it's meant to be
it is.
eaten
It's a
messy.
serious
I can't
pizza.
lie.
Serious.
It's a serious pizza.
I think this is meant to be eaten messy. So I apologize for what's going to happen next segment to both of you and those of you in our viewing audience. We are here at Camille's Pizzeria and Ristorante, Oakland Park, right by our friends in the brewing.
Funky Buddha.
Funky Buddha. I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
Right by Funky Buddha.
You had a senior
here.
moment, Lubie. You're
I
only
did.
42
I
years
did.
old.
I have
You're not
those
allowed
often.
to have that.
When you see a pizza like this, it's hard to keep your focus, but we will do that next on the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival Lunchbox after this.
Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First class dining, top flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, we're back on the Lunchbox. We are celebrating Italian American Heritage Month, Seafood Month, and more at Camille's Pizzeria and Ristorante, Oakland Park, 4165 North Dixie Highway. We're here with Maya and John Kretich, and now we are just surrounded by food, which is the way I like it. What do we have in front of us now, John?
We have a pappardelle bolognese.
That looks pretty darn good. However, I'm going to start off, and I've been restraining myself because usually I kind of try to sneak off a few bites during the break, and I did have that Frito Misto, and I really appreciate, usually you just see it's a little bit of calamari and a little bit of the fried zucchini. You threw in some of that pink, Key West pink shrimp, and that really gives it that local touch, and batter is beautiful.
Thank
Can
you.
you share any secrets? What is the fried batter around that?
I'll give you a hint. It's the same type I use to make the pasta.
Okay.
Really?
You go.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture
Okay.
of pasta flour,
Pasta flour, I like it. It's good.
cornstarch.
All right, looks like Lubie's got the B-roll camera fired up, and he's going to zoom in on some of the
Well, I just wanted
dishes. Yeah,
This bolognese looks fantastic, so I wanted to make sure that everyone can get an actual view
yes.
because
and-
it's that pappardelle, which is that pasta
and
that you don't always
it's
see.
a
everywhere.
wide, flat noodle pasta, and you make that in-house.
That's made in-house daily or every other day.
And you use eggs in your pasta, right?
Absolutely.
And, so you get that good, rich mouthfeel. I always enjoy, and this is the part that Val hates, I enjoy getting a chance to eat bolognese whenever I can, usually without
carrots.
her,
Oh,
because
carrots.
Val is allergic to carrots, and as we all know, carrots is one of the key components in the bolognese sauce. And so when I'm with her, I don't get it. But when I'm not with her, I dive into it face first. But we're going to get there in a minute. First of all, this looks like a real, you got the
Like a
oil
rich
slicked on top,
New
which I
York
love.
slice.
And this has mushrooms, sausage, nice crumbles.
Well, but it's like chunks of.
I'm going to fold it over.
I thought it was chicken
New
for
York
a second
style.
because usually when you get sausage, and there's nothing, I don't judge anyone for what their toppings are, but it's usually a little bit here, a little bit there. That looks like a hamburger, like a whole sausage on the pizza, which
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed by. Like the size and the amount of toppings you guys put on the pizza is very rare, and I'm delighted by it. And the pizza is fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, the sausage, actually, the sausage in particular, my wife and I had, when we were doing recipe testing, we had started out with, just sliced cooked sausage
Yeah.
on top. And my wife came to me and she said, I'm not getting sausage in every bite. So by serving it out of the casing, crumbled on top of the pizza, that oil and that the flavor from the sausage just renders into the pizza dough throughout, making for every bite to be a delectable bite of sausage.
Yep.
And I apologize to Maya. This is the one show where it's not considered rude to talk with your mouth.
No.
You
Somehow
sure?
I've mastered the art,
You've got the
Hopefully-
right crowd. We've got kids. That's all we say.
and hopefully without too much detritus flying out into the atmosphere. But man, this is a really good pie.
Thank you.
And the dough, it's got that perfect amount of crispness and give and chew, and you fold it over. And this is the way we eat it in New York, at least in Brooklyn anyway. You
It's
fold
the
it
only
over.
way to eat a
He
pizza.
did it. John did the
And
same
it's
thing.
like a sandwich now. We have this discussion about bagels. I don't like my bagels sandwich style. I like my bagels open faced. Weirdly enough, I do like pizza both open faced, but when it's like got all these ingredients on it, and I also appreciate you got the little fresh basil on there, which is in these like little leaves clusters, but you can tear them up, and I scattered them evenly throughout the slice.
Yeah, another lovely touch. We decided we have a lot of basil growing in the yard, and
Oh, nice.
Right back here.
Nice.
another idea of my beautiful wife here was to put
I'm full of those.
basil.
I'm
We
full
put
of great
basil
ideas.
plants on every table and the bar. So
Really?
feel free to help yourself if you want some extra
Oh, that's
basil.
freaking cool.
We could
Yeah.
snip it. That reminds me of my
growing up in Brooklyn, there was a famous pizzeria called DeFara Pizza, and Dom, he passed several years ago, but he used to hand make every pie, and he also had the basil plants lining his front window, and he would finish every pie by carefully snipping the basil and just putting it on the pie. It was the finishing touch. It's kind of like a blessing from the Pope. It was beautiful.
Another thing I noticed, and again, I'm not against crust. Actually, I think it's not strange, but I'm always like, why are you throwing away your crust? Like, when it's done right, it's a big key. But I do like that you guys found a way to put the sauce, the cheese, and the toppings all the way to the edge, making the crust as small as possible. So those who are not big crust people, I don't see how you couldn't eat this crust. Like you guys fill up the entire pizza, which I'm actually impressed by.
Well, our crust though too it's very light and crispy, and we're using it's about a year and a half old sourdough starter in there.
Oh wow!
So there's a lot of flavor and
nice air bubbles.
And usually, in my family, I like to say it's doing God's work. But if I see a crust on the plate not eaten, I eat it.
I'm going in. I mean, I crushed this slice, and it brings me to the whole point of pizza has become such a known as a delivery and carry-out food. But does that pain you as a chef? Because there's nothing better than a fresh baked pie right out of the oven when it comes served on a platter like this, favorite. And then you just dive in and keep eating.
Absolutely. And we like to, once again, in the recipe development, we wanted a pizza that could hold up for delivery, yet still be wonderful fresh as well, like a Neapolitan style. So I really feel like we, hit it on the head with this one.
Sauce is great. The cheese is great. Toppings are great. This is a great pie.
It's a really good.
I am proclaiming it now.
Thank you.
One of the best pizzas in town.
Thank you.
So come here and check it out. And then, are you on the delivery apps, or what kind of options do you offer? Guests, I guess.
We are on several apps. We're on Uber Eats. We're on DoorDash. We are going to be on Grubhub shortly, and we are also on Slice.
Very good. So there's numerous ways. What are the hours here, by the way? Just tell people.
We are open every day from 11 to 9, except for Tuesday is our one day we close.
And I think that was a shrewd move. I was talking with John about this the other week. A lot of places, Italian restaurants especially, closed on Mondays.
Absolutely.
So you were hoping to capture the Monday pizza eating crowd.
Yeah, and it's working. We're business is driven our way on Mondays. And
we also have a very nice meatball and martini special on Monday.
Oh, you do?
We do.
And that used to be a very famous thing at another restaurant in town where we were last week, and we love Anthony Bruno. But meatballs and martinis is always usually a hit. So is that gathering momentum now?
Slowly but surely.
So what are some of the other things? I know you guys have been open a few months, and you said you're building steam, and this area does feel like there's not even a lot of places just like yours. It feels like you nailed it. Like there's higher, lower. You guys are residing in the middle, which is, I think, a really cool place to be. You talked about doing specials every week, having a small menu to master that, and also focus on specials.
Absolutely.
What are some of the other things? I know meatballs and martinis on Mondays. Some things you want to bring into the fold.
We have a brunch on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so every day at 11 to 2, we have bottomless mimosas, Bloody Marys. We have a really nice brunch menu that Chef John just curated and rolled out. Any other specials? Lunch, we have a lunch special every day from 11 to 3 p.m. You can get sandwiches with your choice of salad. And
what kind of sandwiches? Is it like a New York style hero on Italian?
We've got several sandwiches.
Yeah, so we have like a prosciutto Roma, which is prosciutto, fresh mozzarella, tomatoes, and our roasted tomato vinaigrette. We have a chicken parm sandwich and a meatball sub. And it's on really nice sesame pugliese bread from Sullivan Street Bakery.
Oh, wow. Look,
Absolutely.
This guy is a highly acclaimed chef, so he's using nothing but the finest.
Nothing but the best.
It's good. You'll notice, unlike many times when I have my little child's plate where I have, I just take a bite and then I leave it. This thing, I scarf down everything. I didn't eat all the basil. I'm
Looks
sorry,
like
I didn't
it's
make green.
Time for some
So
pappardelle.
it is time for some pappardelle. You read my mind, Maya.
That's what I
How'd
do.
you know?
I'm a mind reader when I'm not working the front
All
of
right,
house.
now this is the challenging part. You are in this beautiful
She's literally
outfit.
told her husband,
It's
"Do
like a
not get anything
target.
on me. I'm
I'm
in
going to
white."
do this for
So
the
I already moved
safety
away.
Yes.
and
Of my
comfort
white
of all our
clothing.
guests. I don't want to splatter any of this beautiful bolognese all over. So I've got it over here. Oh, look at these beautiful wide ribbons
those are
of
real deal.
noodles. And the bolognese looks nice and chunky and beefy. And I'm going to send it over to Lubie in a
Yeah,
minute.
we'll get to it.
And you got a little freshly shaved parm on top.
Here's a fresh plate too.
And I'm going to go in a second.
Well,
but why don't you tell people about the pasta making process? You say you kind of make some every day, different.
Yeah, every day we're making it. We're being that we just started and it's been off season, we make it fresh every single day.
Okay.
As we get busier towards the weekends, we make enough for 2 days, 3 days tops. So the pasta is very, very fresh. A lot of restaurants, we produce for the week or for half the week, but we're making it daily. I have 2 great guys, cooks that I've trained, and every day they take turns. They fight over who's going to work service or who's going to make the fresh pasta.
Oh, really?
And everyone right now wants to make fresh pasta.
Oh,
Well, so
well, first of all,
this is beautiful.
we got the chicken parmesan, John, which is a
Chicken
play on your
parmesan.
first name. And the one thing I always hear from Italian chefs is they don't want to put chicken parmesan on a menu, especially ones who are born in Italy. They say it's not a true Italian dish. But then invariably, every customer comes in and says, "I want chicken parmesan."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Were you amenable from the beginning? Was this on from the beginning? The dish?
Yes. When doing our market research and demographics, there was no
You're in South
escaping.
Florida, Broward
There was
County.
no escaping the chicken parm. So all I could do is embrace it with open arms and do it the best I know how to do.
And that looks pretty darn
That
good.
looks fantastic.
Yeah, I
You
think
want to
you're
get
gonna love
that
it.
B-roll camera going? Because
Do it
that
again.
looks like a nice, cheesy,
it's really nice.
bubbly brown crust. Talk a little bit of
But here, let's take note of something here.
Yeah.
And most of South Florida pride themselves on pounding their chicken paper thin and whatnot.
Right.
If you see this, go ahead. You
That's
want
a
to zoom
hefty-
in over
Right,
here.
right,
a hefty
It's
breast.
thick. It's a girthy piece of chicken.
Girthy. I like that.
Yes. So the chicken, you want to taste the chicken. It's
Yes.
juicy. This isn't, I'm not buying cheap chicken here. This is organic, hormone-free chicken, and it deserves the attention that it gets.
And
here
I
at Camille's.
because I guess there's some traditionalists who like to pound out their veal. I mean, veal I can see
Veal can be
pounding it out
tougher,
because you
though.
tenderize it.
Yeah, veal
Chicken
can be
doesn't
tough.
need
Yeah, they
to be
pound it
pounded
out, and all you're tasting is cheese and breading.
Right.
So here at Camille's,
You actually
you
got some
taste
chicken.
that chicken.
Yes. And look at that beautiful tangle of pasta on the side. It looks like spaghetti with just a marinara pomodoro sauce. Not
It's a
just-
pomodoro.
Pomodoro
We don't
sauce.
do marinara here at
Okay.
Camille's.
Can you explain the
Is that
difference? to people?
sacrilegious?
Well,
You made like a face.
It's
I'm sorry.
in my family.
He made a mayo
In
face.
my
No, he made a face. We don't do. He said literally,
He
The
says,
phrase-
It doesn't hide it.
while
I
trying
can't
to
sometimes.
not be judgmental, his mouth couldn't
Yes.
hide it, and he said the term, which I've heard Mayo say in different forms. We don't do. I'm like, oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's just a preference choice. My childhood, my grandmother never put celery or carrot in her sauce.
oh, so marinara has some of those.
yeah, the mirepoix,
Elements.
celery, onion, and
Okay.
carrot
Okay.
in there.
And that's
Uh,
not pomodoro.
Okay.
No.
Pomodoro is just-
Pomodoro, we take freshly ripened tomatoes, fresh, and we roast them in our pizza oven. We peel them, and then we
Oh, wow.
and then it's mounted with garlic infused olive oil with basil.
Oh,
So
wow.
the ingredients
It's
are
even simpler.
tomato, garlic, basil, salt,
All of them.
and butter and cheese. We finish with.
I'm going to get there pretty soon. This is great because I'm going to eat everything.
How you doing
on
over
the
there,
plate.
Mike? You good?
He looks
I'm,
like
I'm
he-
in a state of how we phrase this.
Want to take a
sort of-
break? We could go for a walk around the block.
I'm starting to break into a sweat.
Literally,
but
I
it's a
look up
really-
and he's like, I'm gonna get there.
I'm in a state of rapture, okay? Because when you give me pizza and pasta, and it's one of those things, I don't know if I told you, but I always said the critic in me, every time an Italian restaurant would open up, I'd say, oh, great, another Italian restaurant. Because that's what critics do. And I'd say, I'd much rather have a Lebanese restaurant or some diversity.
Coming
then-
soon.
Right. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Hey,
And that's hot all by the time. By the way, the Middle Eastern, Levant, Lebanese, Israeli, all that cuisine is really taking off. But
But then you'd eat at an Italian restaurant 4 times a week.
right. That's getting back to the point where I have to cry every time it opens up, and then I end up eating it 4 to 5 times a week because I
It's
love
great.
pasta and pizza. I could live without potatoes. I could live without
Same here.
steaks and all that stuff. But if you put me on one of those Atkins keto
Oh, yeah,
diets,
you're in trouble.
by the second week, I am just impossible to be around. Your brain needs this to
I agree.
to be in a happy place.
Yeah.
It releases endorphins. All right, enough of my pontification. Let's take our second break, and we'll come back, and I will dive into the chicken parma John at Camille's Pizzeria and Ristorante in Oakland Park. A little further inland, Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C, 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. Serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended for a special occasion or any occasion. Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. Before I get into more questions about the food and I get into critique mode, and everything here is excellent with Camille's Pizzeria and Ristorante, we do have to mention that there is another food festival coming up. We're in the season now where every week and weekend
Which is
is
great.
a
It's
lot
fun.
of
We love
stuff going on. And here locally in Wilton Manors, they have something known as Taste of the Island, and it's basically a lot of local restaurants here in Wilton Manors take part, and you guys are among them. So do you know what you're making, or I guess some of the details? Have you, this will be your first year in business to take part in it, correct?
Yes. Well, I got to tell you, our meatballs have taken over the area.
Okay.
And,
Nice.
We're getting a lot of talk, so I think we're going to do some little baby meatballs for the event.
Nice. And that's going to be on, I believe it's Sunday, November 10th, if the dates I would given are correct. But I guess you can just go online to Wilton Manors Food Festival Taste of the Island. And the island they are talking about is, they call this the island community because it's kind of surrounded by other cities. So it's not so much of the Caribbean and, island food, although I'm sure there'll be some of that, but there'll be a little bit of everything, including the meatballs from Camille's. What is in your meatball mix? Is it a pork and beef, or?
It's pork and beef.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I do a blend of both, and I go pretty heavy on the pork.
Okay.
That's where the
Which the flavor, to me, that's where the
yeah,
flavor
it makes
is.
them, softer, more supple.
Will you consider making an all beef meatball as an option? And you can say no, but I know there's some people, a lot of
pork.
people in Broward, the Jewish kosher community, the Muslim community that keeps halal, that don't eat pork, and then I know that some restaurants do that, but I don't know what your
Well,
thoughts are.
for events and catering, I'd be happy to accommodate.
Yep.
Anyone's requests, but the meatballs that we're serving I want to be true to myself and to my heritage.
Okay.
It's
That's a
beef
fair
and pork,
answer.
and we let the guests know.
Yeah. I just think that the blended meatball, and I grew
It
up
has a different
in
flavor.
a Jewish flavor.
Just-
But my mom also blended in the veal and the beef and the pork. She used the meatloaf mix that we got at the local Italian grocery store, Landy's in Brooklyn, had a great meatloaf mix that you also use for the meatballs, all three meats. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to singing your praises, John Credit, and Maya Credit, too. I mean, you guys are, behind this. You're here all the time. You also have full liquor, so you have great cocktail menu,
the bar's
too. Is
beautiful.
that right?
Yeah, we have a happy hour every day except for the weekend from 4 to 6 p.m.
And you feature what on the happy hour menu?
We've got martinis, we've got beers, and we've got about 6 or 7 bites off our menu.
Nice.
Wow.
So people can just come on in. And again, that's Monday through Friday.
Yep.
I'm not.
Remember, they're closed Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday,
Monday,
Wednesday, Thursday,
and then
Friday.
Wednesday.
So it
That's
is
right.
Friday, though. You can get it on Friday.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice for your weekend.
I always like to see those kinds of deals because people are very, value conscious
conscious,
this
yep.
day.
That's
What
right.
kind of feedback you've been getting, Maya, from guests in terms of the
And
food and what they're getting here?
Everyone's happy, and that's what we aim for. So far, feedback has been great.
And that's good. They're
Well,
not
for your criticism, or not yours, but chef's criticism of having a chicken parm. One of our viewers already said, I love their chicken parm. I can't stand when it's too thin.
Yeah,
I love that theirs is nice and thick.
I'm going to hand it back
And
to
I was
you.
like, yeah, John just
before
talked about
I
that.
eat the whole
I'm like,
thing.
Yeah.
So people
he-
are noticing what you're trying to do, and I actually think that's great, and I appreciate that.
He used the word juicy because when you pound it out thin and
It
all you
makes it
taste,
drier.
it dries it out.
Yep.
This is a very juicy chicken parm. And I know one of our regular viewers and supporters of the show, Ellen Freed, she always uses that word juicy when it comes to her parms, and she likes a juicy parm. Ellen, you got to make your way down
Yep.
from Del Rey and come
You
in
can
here
see,
because
look at
this
that.
chicken
Nice and
parm
thick.
is among the most flavorful, thickest, and juiciest that I've had. And that little tangle of spaghetti in the pomodoro sauce. And you can tell the fresh roasted tomatoes make all the difference in the world. But we had a little discussion. I'm of the opinion, and I'm a critic, that not every pasta needs to be house-made, hand-rolled, fresh every day. That sometimes there is a place for high-quality, dried, boxed pasta, particularly the ones that come from Italy, and that with certain dishes, like when it's a side dish, not the main event on a chicken parm, I think this works just fine. But is the chef in you a little bit like saying, I want to make my own? Or...
We plan on doing more fresh pastas, spaghetti. I'm in the market of purchasing an extruder.
Okay.
So once that's handled, we'll have some fresh pasta. But absolutely, who am I to say that I can make, dry extruded pasta better than the guy that's been doing it for 200 years in Italy?
Right. And sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
However, I mean, after tasting the bolognese with the pappardelle,
You can tell the difference.
you can tell the difference, the freshness, and you obviously know what you're doing. You've worked at some of the best places making pasta. What I don't like is when it's in the hands of maybe the wrong people and it comes out gummy or gluey or mushy. But this is like a perfectly al dente house-made pappardelle that it has that toothsomeness to the bite, which is al dente means what to the
Yes.
I don't even know what it means. It just means that's the
It's like
proper
a bite,
way to
yeah.
eat it. Yeah, but so anyway, job well done on all that stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's really good. What kind of seasonality do you embrace here now? You know that we're moving into supposedly the colder months here, but is there changes in herbs or other products?
Oh yeah, are
seafood?
you seasonal at all?
Yes. Well, like I mentioned before, a lot of the farms in South Florida start to produce vegetables. So I'll be using, more, seasonal vegetables, zucchini, tomatoes, fresh spring onions come in South Florida, in the winter months. So I'll be using a lot of that, and more heartier dishes. We'll be doing ossobuco, and I'm going to do braised short rib and
Marsala.
braised short rib marsala. We're going to introduce, and risottos, mushroom risottos.
Right.
Earthy
and
Some
full,
cozier winter
dishes.
Yeah, I mean winter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. All right. So that is on the menu and on the agenda coming up for the next few months. And, all I can do is say kudos to you. I wish you guys much success. We do have to take our third break. I think Maya seems very antsy. She wants out.
I think she's done a great
surrounded.
job. I appreciate her time.
I'm just very, very thankful that she's still sitting here even despite watching me eat. And B, I did not splatter any of the pomodoro
Our friend
sauce.
Kevin,
You
by
did
the way,
good.
from Batch,
Yes.
was like, "Oh wow, I feel like Mayo could big bite one of those slices."
Yeah.
I said, "No, they're too big. Thank goodness." He didn't even try.
Not too big. I could do it, but the
After the
company
When Maya leaves.
when Maya is out of the picture, because I always like to behave reasonably well, especially
Confined
front of me.
spaces.
terror sex. All right, John, Maya, let's take our final break, and then we'll wrap up this edition of the Lunchbox from Camille's in Wilton Manors?
Oakland
Park. Why do I keep getting this wrong? Did I say Wilton Manors? About
You said
the
Oakland Park the
festival?
whole time, but the festival's in Wilton Manors.
Okay,
So,
that's why I got
A little Wilton
confused.
Manors,
Don't
a lot of
confuse
Oakland
me,
Park.
Kip. I'm old.
More Camille's on a Visit Our Food and Wine Festival Lunchbox after this.
Is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. Transworld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at Transworld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligans, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to Transworld to help sell. Contact Transworld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Prezzo Italian Restaurants. 2 locations, Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information, go to eatprezzo.com.
All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We did let Maya escape. I'm sure she has a lot of things to do, mother, kids, running a
Oh,
restaurant.
she has a lot of business stuff here. Yeah.
And you are the last man standing. I will not shove an entire slice in my mouth.
Yeah,
you know
don't do
why?
that. Don't do that.
This pizza deserves to be treated with respect
Yes.
and eaten and consumed with human bites and not anything that I'm going to do. But John Kredich is here. And you guys, again, you officially opened when? I've lost track of time this year. It was July 31st. Is his mic on, Lubie? I don't hear his mic. There we go. There we go. Hello.
I'm sorry.
Is my mic on?
Yes.
Can anybody hear us? Okay, we're good.
You're on.
All right. And again, 4165 North Dixie Highway in Oakland Park. The food festival, Taste of the Islands, is in Wilton Manors. I am now reoriented with everything in the world. Are you guys, what's your holiday schedule in terms of Thanksgiving week, and also Christmas Eve, Christmas Day?
We're gonna be we're gonna close on Christmas Day, and we're gonna close on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. Christmas Eve, are you going to do a Feast of the Seven Fishes?
That's in the talks. We'll definitely have an option for that.
That's one of my favorite traditions.
Whether whether we do each dish individually or we make one dish with
it's like
incorporating
5 different
seven
things. That's an easier way of doing it.
Yes.
Especially if you're going out to eat. All right. Oh, and speaking of Thanksgiving, I got to put the word out about 2 of our sponsors. Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market in Hollywood, 4191 North State Road 7. That is the place to go if you're preparing a holiday feast at home, because they have the fresh killed turkeys that come in right off the farm. They also have stone crabs and seafood for your other appetizers and courses, and they are just the house of freshness. They're open 7 days a week. And if you want to put in an order for Thanksgiving, they are accepting them right now. Go online to DelawareChicken.com and sign up for their weekly circular by email. Just give them your email, and then you'll get all their happenings and specials every week, DelawareChicken.com. And then option number 2, since they're going to be closed here on Thanksgiving Day, our friends at Tropical Acres Steakhouse, the Studiali family, they are ready to serve from 1 to 8 p.m. Talked to Jack yesterday. The reservations book is filling up fast. Nice. Not that much available for larger parties after 4 p.m., but if you want to get in there for an earlier in the day, call it Thanksgiving supper, just give them a call, 954-989-2500, 954-989-2500. Tropical Acres, they do a great job with, obviously, their meats, the prime rib and the filet mignon, but during the holidays, they also have some of the traditional favorites, turkeys with all the trimmings, ham, and whatnot. So go in there. You'll have a fine time, and you don't have to clean up. You don't have to spend any more time with that uncle you really don't want to be hanging out with than you have to. Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road in Dania Beach. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right. Are we? I think we're pretty much done. Was there anything else that you would like to say to the fine folks at Let's Eat South Florida Land? You've been getting pretty kind reviews there, right?
Yes, we're stellar reviews. We're taking care of our guests, you know, from the front to the back. And, you know, all new customers, I hope you come down and join us for a lovely dinner.
How much, and I know this is, again, for a newish restaurant, again, the whole social media game is so critical, especially these review sites where people leave stars and you get star averages, and people who don't know what they're talking about might end up saying things that are not completely true or fair. How do you handle that? Do you monitor that? Or is that
Well, frankly, I wish Mayo was here for this one, but I try to stay in the back, Mike. You know, that's where I belong.
Right.
You know, we take care of the guests the best as we can, and we try to make everyone happy. You know, I do that with my food, not so much, and you know, my rhetoric. So I let my wife talk to the guests.
Maya's the diplomat.
Yes,
and I can see
absolutely.
Yeah, but again, this is something I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it again. It's particularly when we come out to these, you know, independent mom and pops that are relatively new. If you have a problem, if something's not right, say something while you're here.
Yep.
And they will try to make it right. And if a dish isn't prepared
Well said.
to what you like, tell them what you find wrong about it. And if something is too salty, I'm sure you'll take it back and remake
people,
a dish.
You know, all my career, people, you know, and me coming from most of the restaurants I've worked at were in hotels where we, you know, we take extra pride in making the guests happy. So I strive for that. And if someone wants something modified,
I don't know how you guys do
it. I have no problem doing it.
Yeah. No, I don't know how you guys do it in terms of when you see somebody here and they nod, everything's okay. And then the next thing you know, they're firing off a one-star
Here's another
review
thing, if I may say with reviews.
Yeah.
I feel that people, you know, that are really into food know how to read a review. They know when a guest is the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I read reviews of a restaurant, I see it. You know, I guess I'm biased, but like I see, like, okay, this guy just didn't understand what that chef was trying to do, or whatnot. You know,
yeah, or maybe he has some sort of agenda, and he has a family member that works for somebody else down the block, or whatever.
That's diabolical. I was going more for I'm trying to get a free dinner.
Oh yeah,
but
the
neighborhood restaurant backstabbing, that's a new one. But who knows?
Yeah, no, it's
been around it all.
It's all out there, but keep doing what you do. Again, pizza like this and that pasta, chicken parmesan, every dish that we had today was stellar.
Well, and it feels like the combination. That's the one thing I was going to ask John Maya, because one thing about South Floridians, especially with New York ties, no matter how good you can go to the highest level place, there's always some hearkening to this place they had when they were 8 in the middle of Flatbush.
Yeah.
So I've always found it interesting. Like, you guys seem to combine. Our friend Eric was like, that looks like a real New York slice. And I always find that funny because I was in New York. I had pizza. It was good. I'm down here. I have pizza. It's good. You know, like your pizza feels like New York, but the dishes also feel like Italy. Like, you guys have it feels like captured what a lot of people are begging for. My wife makes fun of me because I grew up on chicken parm and American Italian, she calls it, or Mayo calls it red sauce Italian. Yeah. But I also am open to cacio e pepe and some of these other things. And it feels like you guys have sort of embraced both worlds and are sort of meandering through it pretty seamlessly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm American. I'm Italian, you know, and I'm been in Florida for 12 years. Yeah. And I'm, you know, just trying to blend that together with my, culinary background.
Well, I'm glad that Lubie gets it, because you described exactly what John described to me when he was talking about, what he was doing here in the kitchen,
trying to bring here
restaurant. And again, come on out, try it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's proper pizza. And we always, even though the critic in me grumbles, we do need more of it, because the population is growing, and there's always room for more at the table, particularly when it's really good food. So congrats to you and Maya.
Thank you guys.
Keep up the great work. Enjoy family life. The kids are going to grow up fast. Before you know it, they will be bussing tables, and they will.
Yeah, you will see them here. Absolutely.
He's like, I'm ready.
Lower my labor.
That's it. That's going to do it for today. We're actually tomorrow we're going to have an encore edition. I have to go pay the piper, have a little doctor's appointment, and we'll see what happens there. But Fingers crossed, folks.
Crossing
We'll be
everything.
back on Friday from Gulfstream Park for a special celebration. 3rd anniversary of the
That's
Lunchbox
amazing.
on Friday, and the 100th show at Gulfstream Park
Wow.
on Friday, which
That's
also happens to be day 1 of the Breeders' Cup. I think Defo will be there for that. He was on special assignment today.
He'll be there today.
What the special assignment was, I don't know yet, but no,
He'll be there Friday. He's not going to miss that.
he'll be there Friday. John, Maya, everybody here at Camille's. Oh, can't forget Mary. She's the one you'll see out the front register. She'll be handling your slices. Everybody loves Mary because there's something about Mary. All right, that's going to do it for today. Lubie, any other business, or we're done, right?
No. World Series tonight, and we'll see if the New York team can stay alive after
Extend
staying
it.
alive last night.
Make them take that long flight back out to LA,
To the Bronx.
after tonight. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. Enjoy every pizza, every pasta, and enjoy every sandwich.
What's next is the question.